Yeah.
You want to like them, but you can't.
Are you listening?
What?
Are you listening?
Did you bring me on this show to insult me?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all don't want it with us, man. We straight gangsters over here,
Straight
man.
gangsters.
Ah.
Yeah, it is September 17th, a Monday, and you are listening to the Scout Team with Scout Team Sports. I am one of your gracious hosts. They call me Loudbeard.
You are the most egotistical, self-deluded person I have ever met.
And all of that is true. And on the other line, if he has his microphone turned on, is the great patriot himself, known as
Yeah, it's me, Chris America, coming to you live this Monday morning, every morning from 6 to 7. And then we replay again at 11 a.m. just in case you can't get up early like we do. Loudbeard, what a weekend of college football and NFL football. I mean, it's unfair to the other sports who played this weekend. Were there any other sports that played this weekend?
cricket, dodgeball, volleyball. I don't even know. None of those
There's some
even
other
existed
major
this weekend.
There's some other major professional sport that also played this. I couldn't notice.
Baseball? Maybe.
Baseball, yeah, that's it.
Is that it? I don't know. We'll have to check the the stat machine. Maybe reach out to the stat magician and see if he knows, because I don't even know what else was on, because it was a huge football weekend and, man, tons of fun. I love coming back on a Monday after having a weekend like that, being able to talk about all the ups, all the downs, and everything in between. And I don't know about you, man. I had a great weekend. Did you have a great weekend?
I did. It was awesome, man. Just lots and lots of football.
All right, man. So just to get us started, because it sounds like you're already taking your first bite out of it, let's go ahead and get started quickly with our idiot sandwich, because you and I, we like to be a talking head on our show and say we know what we're talking about. But every once in a while, we get something wrong. Not very often. Not very often. I do want to say that usually when we get something wrong, it is very, very rare. So when we do, we want to make sure that we mention it on the air. So each and every Monday, we like to jump in and do our idiot sandwiches and our geniuses, just to show the Americans, show the listeners how we are the greatest at picking and the worst all at the exact same time. So I'll start us off with my idiot sandwich from the weekend.
What are you?
An idiot sandwich.
I did say that I had hoped and I thought that maybe Ole Miss would hang with Alabama. And if you watched any of that game, or if you just saw the score afterwards, you would know that I was an idiot sandwich, because Ole Miss had absolutely nothing to bring against Alabama. Alabama stomped them. It wasn't even close. It was never close. Alabama just inserted their dominance, and there was not a single moment during that entire game where you thought, oh, Ole Miss can hang with Alabama. And I never even predicted that that Ole Miss could beat Alabama. I just said they could hang. And just saying that made me a huge idiot sandwich. So, Chris America,
that game was over. That game was over like within the first 5 minutes. I could not believe how either Ole Miss is just that bad, or Alabama is just that good, or somewhere in between. But man, it was an awful game.
Yeah, it was a terrible game, and I'd have to say that Alabama is just that good is where I'm leaning on that one. I think Alabama finally has that quarterback that is going to put a ton of points on the board. Over the years, they've just had this great defense, great running game, and an average quarterback. That's how you could have described all the national championships that they've won. They've done it with talent outside of the quarterback position, and there have been good quarterbacks, above average quarterbacks, but none of them have been great quarterbacks. They might have finally found the guy that is the Heisman hopeful. Tua is going to be that guy that just changes the landscape for Alabama and their future. And, I mean, they look like they're world beaters, man. They just look like they are absolutely unstoppable. So with that being said, Chris America, what would you say would be your...
What are you?
An idiot sandwich.
I had to choke down an idiot sandwich with the Auburn Tigers this weekend. I said, I just have never trusted Ed Orgeron, but maybe I need to start changing my tune on him and the LSU Tigers. They went into Auburn. It was a really great game, and they hit a game-winning field goal at the end to take away the win. The LSU Tigers, I don't know what to think about them still, because I still don't know what to think about the Auburn Tigers. I think both of those teams are kind of middle-of-the-road teams. Some days they're good, and they can. What we've seen them beat Alabama. We know that LSU hangs with Alabama every year, but they're also teams that are bad that sometimes don't show up on weekends at all. So let's see as the season continues. I think I'm gonna have to reevaluate my takes on LSU. I'm not sold on them yet, but I'm starting to reevaluate.
Well, that is the perfect segue into...
How the hell do you know that?
Because I'm a genius.
I just want to mention that on Friday, I said, I believe in Coach O. And I do. I believe in Coach O. The LSU Tigers, the Battle of the Tigers, the winner. This team has impressed me. And honestly, I look back to last year.
My Jack.
And last year...
Hold on. I think we have a ghost. There is a ghost in the room. There's a
ghost in the studio. There's no way. There's ghosts everywhere. Ghost, are you there?
Here? I feel like it sounded like something golden was coming through the radio.
Oh, boy. There's no way. There's no way. Here, while the golden ghost does his thing, I'll go ahead and finish my little take here. But Coach O, I'm a believer. I look back to last year when LSU lost.
That's a tough one. It's because, yes, I understand that how the dominance of the Patriots. I'm talking about specifically when Brady retires.
What is going on in the studio? I know it's Halloween season coming up soon, but what is going
There's
on?
Definitely a ghost in the studio. Wow. This is creepy. It's spooky. It's altogether kooky. And that golden ghost, he keeps haunting. I'm never even going to get through this LSU take. So last year they lose to Troy. Everybody was jumping ship. Since then, they have had a couple losses. They did lose their bowl game, but I felt like Coach O had brought this team together, and I just see them progressively improving and just seeing that constant improvement. I think that LSU is a legitimate team, and this year they are going to battle for this being a top college football team. I think they're going to be in the top 5, top 6 of the rankings each and every week. I think they're going to go up to battle against some big teams in the SEC. And LSU is that sneaky good team that didn't get the credit at the beginning of the year like your Auburns and Alabamas. And they are now showing that they are going to be worth it. So I'm excited, man. That was my genius. Chris America, are you a genius this morning?
How the hell do you know that?
Because I'm a genius.
I am a genius, and I told you guys that Boise State was only ranked above UCF as a snub. Let's rub our noses in this UCF team that we don't like because they're trying to steal our thunder with our college football playoff, and they don't deserve it. So we're going to rub their noses in it by taking another Group of 5 team that didn't finish anywhere near as good as they did last season, and we're going to rank them above UCF. And I told you guys that Oklahoma State was going to take care of that, and they did. The game was sort of back and forth at the beginning, but then Oklahoma State just took over, beat them down 44-21, wasn't even close. What are we thinking, putting any other Group of 5 school over UCF at this point? They're on a 15-game winning streak now? Or is it still 14? No, it's 15.
Yeah, they were 13-0 last year. They've won 2 games this year, so they're 15-0. And they would have probably won this weekend, but there was a hurricane keeping them down, so they had to take a pass. And you know what? I'm with you. Boise State's good. I want to see Group of 5 teams succeed, but I don't want to see Boise State ahead of UCF. There's no need for that. That's disrespect, and you're correct. Oklahoma State came in. They mopped the floor with Boise State. And you know what? Push Boise State behind UCF. Still a great team. They're still going to have success this year. But they are not as good as UCF. They need to show it. And I hate this, we think that they're better, even though they're not showing it on the field mentality when we do these rankings. And that's what you see. So I just got a message from the Golden Ghosts asking if we could go ahead and if we're in the studio. Of course we are. Every Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m., the Scout team comes at you live. And our replay is on at 11 a.m. This is all on 12ouncesportsradio.com. And if you miss any of the episodes, if you don't catch us live, you miss the replay, you can always go back and listen to the old episodes on our podcast on Apple iTunes, Spotify podcasts, or on our website, scoutteamradio.com. So I guess we just have to let the cat out of the bag. This was the easiest topic for us to talk about from the weekend, and that would be FSU. Now, are we ready to roll into this? I feel like there's going to be a Golden Ghost coming in any minute just to talk about this. I'm hoping it happens, but
while we're waiting for the Golden Ghosts, I'm going to play – we're going to do our Motivational Monday a little early this week because it has to do with FSU. We're going to do a little Monday motivation. This is Dino Babbers, head coach Dino Babbers, the Seminole Slayer, the post-game speech. It gets me fired up when I hear coaches pump up their boys after a game just as much as before a game. Here we go. Motivational Monday. Oh, wait, hold on. Give me 1 second, Kyle. I have technical difficulties. Let me just take a second.
All right, you can take a second. And while you're taking that second, don't forget to book like a pro. If you visit 12ouncesportsradio.com, you go to the website, you scroll down to the link that says book like a pro. You can get tee times at extremely discounted prices, and you can book tee times anywhere. All right, I think we're ready. Go ahead, Chris America.
The last time it happened, the Beatles were hot. Hello? The last time it happened, the 66 Mustang was the baddest thing on the road. Hello? Because I'm telling you now. I'm telling you now. You just put yourself on the map. There's a bunch of non-believers and all of a sudden they got a lot of Hey, remember who was with you in the beginning. Remember who was on the train. But doggone it, ain't it good to be winners again in the ACC? But that's okay. That's okay, because it was a little warm in whose house? Shit, now, hold on. Did you see it? All week, Monday was in the 80s. You know? And then it got a little bit hot. Then we had the big hurricane come into the Carolinas, and the heat index started raising up next to Canada. Hello? And then we got that to about an 89 today, and we put it on whose house? Oh, it was hot. Shit now. Oh, it was hot. Shit was hot. Man, somebody hand me some water. Somebody let me hydrate. Because once again, it was whose house? Whose house? Whose house? Whose house? Whose house? Whose house?
Yeah, buddy. We're going to go into whose house, Loudbeard?
We're going into our house.
That's right. We're going to turn up the heat here on your Monday. We're going to make sure you know that it's Monday morning. Don't let it get you down. Hey, listen, if you're having a bad day, if you're feeling like you haven't won in a really long time, all you got to do is just think about the Syracuse Orange. It's been since 1966 they've been able to beat the Florida State Seminoles, and they did it this past Saturday. So don't get down on your luck. Don't feel bad for yourself. You got to pick yourself up. And whose house?
Our house.
There you go, Loudbeard. Wake up a little bit, bud.
The heat index, it's getting hot in Canada. Right
Over
up near
in
Canada.
Man, the hurricanes
it's getting hot.
Hurricanes apparently turn up the heat in Canada.
Man, that was good. I like that. I think FSU should have probably looked at Dino Babbers instead of Willie Taggart. I'm just saying.
Definitely should have looked at Dino Babbers instead of Willie Taggart, but that would have been a lateral move for Dino, don't you think?
Well, it could have been a demotion.
Oh, man.
All right, so the Golden Ghost, do you hear us at all? Can you speak? Can you at least make a sound? No, the Golden Ghost is, I think we've exorcised the demons. We brought in our good friends from the Ghostbusters. This segment was brought to you by Ghostbusters.com. If you have a ghost haunting your virtual studio, make sure to reach out, www.ghostbusters.com. They will exorcise any golden ghosts that you may have haunting your virtual studio. Right, Chris America?
There is no Dana, only Zool.
So true. All right, I guess I do want to talk about, another team closely related to FSU. If we end up getting a Golden Ghost onto the virtual studio, we'll have him talk about the Florida State Seminoles. But the Florida State Seminoles let go. They disrespected one of their coaches, their greatest coaches of all time. Right behind Bobby Bowden is the man, Jimbo Fisher. And, Jimbo is doing an all right job over there at Texas A&M. And according to the AP poll, this is a top 25 program the first time since 2016. So I think those people over at Texas A&M, all the boosters, the athletic director, everybody that had to shell out all that big money to get Jimbo Fisher, they're already starting to see the benefit of that money. They're starting to see the benefit of how well Jimbo Fisher can recruit and what a great coach this guy is, what a motivator he is, how well he can take his Christmas tree and put it out on his curb December 15th. This guy is one of the greatest coaches we have ever seen, and Texas A&M is already on the rise. A program that was in the gutter is rising up to become a juggernaut once again. So congratulations to Texas A&M for being ranked.
Yeah, 2016, such a long time ago. It's crazy how he's brought this team back from just so many years of not being in the top 25. Yeah, the Florida State Seminoles let him go. They didn't want to get in a bidding war. They were tired of Jimbo constantly complaining and asking for money, so they let him go. And now they have Willie Taggart, Willie T, Slick Willie. But he's not the only first-year coach, and neither is Jimbo. We have 3 other coaches that I've been kind of monitoring over these last few weeks, and they're all coaches that are spread option coaches. You got Willie Taggart, you got Chad Morris, Scott Frost, and Chip Kelly. All these guys are your spread offense type guys, and they took over programs that ran a little bit of like pro sets or West Coast style offense or pro style offenses with, your I formations and your fullbacks and everything else like that. So which of those coaches do you think, Loudbeard, is off to the worst start out of those 3 football teams?
You know what? To be honest with you, I was half paying attention because I was trying to help Anthony Mack, the man with the Golden Ghost, try to get on the studio. But I have a feeling you said Scott Frost in Nebraska. Did you mention him?
Well, I mentioned all 4 coaches, Taggart.
I don't care about the other ones. I want to
Kelly.
talk about Scott Frost in Nebraska because this is a guy that takes a UCF program. I have a lot of respect for him. He takes a UCF program from the brink of destruction, 0-10, and he brings them back. Brings them to a bowl game first year. Second year, brings them to a national championship. Turns around a program that was decimated, had very little talent, and in 2 years turns them around, makes them undefeated and national champions. So he goes into Nebraska with the highest of high hopes. The Nebraska team has really not been that big name since Tom Osborne, and you want to bring that back to relevance. This is a big program with a big name, a lot of history, a lot of legacy, and Scott Frost played for this team. This is the dream job. This is his one opportunity to go in and show the world that he is going to bring Nebraska back to the promised land. And unfortunately, they suck. And Scott Frost has not done any of these things yet. It is way too early. This is Overreaction Monday. But Scott Frost, I don't know what's going on over there. I know you took a couple UCF players, but this was the most disappointing new coach, I would say. Hey, Golden Ghost, are you on?
Wow, bro. You going to throw your boy under the bus like that?
Hey, let's turn down the mic.
Is
loud there, Ghost.
Come on,
I like
can you hear
man.
me?
I
Is
only
it good?
let my
We can-
ghost
we
in
can
there.
hear you
I
just
can hear
loud.
you.
All right. How about now?
We'll just roll with it.
Just roll with it. All right,
Chris, you
dude.
might want to turn yourself up to balance a little bit.
All right, I'll see what I can do.
All right.
Either way, man, I can't believe you're throwing your guy under the bus like that, man. First year? His first year.
Well, hey,
So
Loudbeard,
since you're on the microphone, should we
Loudbeard.
talk? Yes.
Well, let's finish up Scott Frost. Let's not bounce around. Can you hit me with a genius, please?
Yeah.
How the hell do you know that? How the hell do you know that?
Because I'm a genius.
Listen, I told you guys this before. Scott Frost cannot win with his offense at Nebraska right now with the type of talent that they have, and he's never going to win if he cannot recruit the speed that he had in Florida. And I told you guys, being in the center of America, being in the middle of the cornfields, it is going to be hard for him to recruit an entire team of speed like he had at UCF to run the offense that he wanted to run. When he came to UCF, his first thing he did was he made a little hashtag UCFast, and that's because he knows that his offense is predicated on team speed, getting guys out in space and letting them work. And he has that here in Florida. Florida is a speed state. If you want speed, you come to Florida. You go down to Miami. You go down over to Tampa and west to Plant over there in Plant City. That's where you find all these speed boys. You're not going to find that in Nebraska. So he's either going to have to change his offense, tweak it up a little bit, or he's going to have to bust his ass getting those boys from Texas and Georgia and Louisiana and Florida and try to convince them that, hey, come play for me over here in Nebraska. So, I mean, that's what we're seeing right now is he just does not have any of the players he needs to win with his offense.
Okay. First off, first year, give him a break. Second thing is, you don't think he's going to adjust the offense later on? I mean, if he had to. Third
he has
thing.
to now. I mean, why not do it now?
Okay, he has to adjust it now. Let's see what he does. Third thing is, he's a recruiter, and I think he's going to be fine. Like, you give the guy a year. Come on, man. Don't throw him under the bus yet. Give him time. It's going to work out for him. He might not be the powerhouse that he was at UCF, but at one time, let's just go back to the 90s. Nebraska was winning with those slow players. You don't think he's going to get one or two, maybe three to come up there with him? I mean, everybody needs running backs. He's proven that he can do it. He'll recruit those guys. He'll snag one or two away from us. The Florida schools, the Georgia schools can't take them all. You know what I'm saying? One of those kids are going to say, you know, I want to go play. I want to go play now. I want to go play for a good coach and a great offense. He's going to go there. I mean, Oregon did it back in the day also. Those guys they're going to find a way. He's going to find a way to get, 5 or 6 of them up there to play for him. Period. He'll be fine.
Well, he needs more than just 5 or 6. He needs like a roster of 22 to 44. I mean, it's not just one. You don't just win with one guy being fast on your team and running that offense. You need your offensive linemen to be quick on their feet and athletic. You need your tight ends to be quick on his feet and athletic. You need that overall speed, and Nebraska won running the wishbone offense. Those days are dead and gone. I mean, Georgia Tech's trying to bring it back, Navy's trying to bring it back, but for the most part, the wishbone offense, the triple option offense, you're not winning that way anymore, and Nebraska's proven that you can't win that way anymore the last 20 years.
Well, I mean, we're a variation of it.
Running
Yeah.
it, but like I said,
with a variation of that offense, yeah, they'll be fine.
I think Frost will be all right. I think he will change up his offense. I think he will get the type of recruits and the athletic recruits he needs, but he's not going to be able to duplicate exactly what he did at UCF. It's not going to look like that. He's going to have to change.
No. It's not going to be exactly what it is, and he will change. I mean, you have no choice if you want to win. So, but damn, give him at least a season, man. What's wrong with these fair weather fans that are just jumping on coaches after like 3 or 4 games, man? Calm down. It'll be all right.
That's the perfect segue into another coach that I think we should discuss a little bit. A coach that an entire fan base has already turned their back on.
That is not true.
Thrown them to the wolves.
It's not true.
That would be the great Willie Taggart. So you being the FSU aficionado, Mr. Anthony Mack, the man with the golden mic, why don't you just go ahead and set the tone for what you're feeling as a fan of the Florida State Seminoles right now?
The same thing as everybody that's a fan of Scott Frost should feel. It's a season. What did you think was going to happen? Do you think we're just going to come in and just straight dominate? New offense, whole new coaching staff, new defensive schemes. There's going to be downfall. I've told everybody this, and everybody that wants to jump on that fire Taggart train, you guys are fools and fair weather fans. There's no way that you can give a coach 3-4 games and say, okay, we've seen enough. He has to go. That is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. I'm sorry, Chris. That's Gator fan type shit.
You know what that is, Anthony?
Your Honor, it was unbelievable. You understand?
Look, it was.
Yeah, it was. I get it. I get it, man. It's tough. It's bad. It looks horrible. Once again, we knew Willie had questions to answer. We knew this. He still hasn't answered them. That's fine. It's only week 3. It's only week 3. Everybody just needs to pick the big boy pants on, calm down, and let this season play out. Once again, we're horrible last year, and then we had Jimbo Fisher. We were horrible last year, and we had Jimbo Fisher. Think about that. Everybody was willing to give Jimbo a chance. Oh, this got hurt and this player got hurt, and we're hurt. We need to regroup, come back next year stronger. Everybody thought Jimbo was coming back, and everybody was willing to give him a chance. Why can't they give Willie Taggart a season? Give him a season. He'll be fine. Of course we look bad. Of course it looks horrible. These aren't his recruits, and I don't care what anybody says. When a coach comes in, he wants his recruits. I mean, you play with the blue chippers that we have, but just like Scott Frost, it's a different type of offensive scheme, different type of linemen, different type of defensive players. I mean, that's just the way it is. Our offensive line looks like shredded cheese when we know that those guys were all blue chippers. They were. They were absolutely highly recruited players. They just don't fit in the scheme that Willie's running. I hope that he's switching it up just a little bit. I saw a glimpse of him taking maybe some aspect of Jimbo's play calling from 2 years ago. I thought I saw maybe something like that. Or maybe it's just wishful thinking on my part. But at the same time, he's the coach. He's going to get a season regardless out of me. Anybody else can go somewhere.
So is he just getting one season out of you?
No, come on. I'm not going to be a Gator fan and be like, oh, he's got to go after 24 months.
First of all, this is the second time you've said that. I've told you multiple times. You Florida State fans are just like Gator fans. You just haven't had the right coach to be mad at. 2 weeks in, 3 weeks in, we got Mia Khalifa starting GoFundMe accounts. There's like 10 or 12 GoFundMe accounts right now to buy out Willie Taggart's contract. I tried telling you, y'all were just the same. You just got lucky that you've had a Hall of Fame coach for 50 years and Jimbo Fisher.
Those are fair weather fans, though. I'm just being honest with you.
Every fan base has those. Hate to tell you.
Yeah, but I'm not that guy.
Welcome to reality. It's not a Gator thing. It's a college football thing.
Okay.
Second thing is, I think right now you're just getting a bad taste of sports karma. First week on Monday, you were just ragging on how bad Miami looked. They're not back. Your team comes out, falls flat. Last weekend, you're like, oh, I can't believe Florida lost to a basketball school after 31 years. What happens the next week?
That's irony.
To a basketball school that you haven't lost to since 1966. 1966. I don't even know if our parents were out of diapers in 1966.
Oh, God. Bruh, the sports gods have absolutely paid me back this season, and I'm fine with it. Hey, Green Bay tied yesterday, and I'm still trying to figure out how the heck that happened. The sports gods...
Top 5 Kirk Cousins is the reason why, but that's a different story.
Whatever. Well, he's still tied. But, the sports gods are mad at me, obviously. I'm sorry. I'm probably going to lose a couple of bets this year. That's fine. I've been on top for a long time. Come at me, bruh. We're good.
We're coming at you, bro. Coming at you hard. Now, guys,
Yeah,
we are
I know.
up against the commercial break, so we're going to do a quick commercial. And on the flip side, we get to hear the Golden Ghost tell his take on why the Purple People Eaters are better than the Cheeseheads. All right.
What? That's not true.
Did you know 40 points on your credit score could cost you $40,000 on a mortgage? Thankfully, Lexington Law is here to help. Since 1991, Lexington Law has helped over 500,000 customers take action on their credit reports. Call 877-910-7472 to talk to a repair specialist now. Personalized credit consultation is free. Getting access to your report is free. Plus free score evaluation with a recommended solution. Call now and get on the path to recovery. Call Lexington Law at 877-910-7472. That's 877-910-7472.
Oh, it's summertime. And what's that mean? We're all heading off to the golf course. But don't go too fast. Make sure you go to 12ouncesportsradio.com and book a tee time. At the bottom of any page, you'll see Book Like a Pro. Click that banner, enter your course of choice or zip code, find a tee time you like, book that tee time, and you'll get up to 50% off, courtesy of 12-Ounce Sports Radio. Book like a pro, even if you don't play like one.
Ring Central features all-in-one phone, messaging, and video conferencing. It's easy to use with unparalleled security. Ring Central simplifies things so you can grow. Call Ring Central to speak with a representative about a price for your growing business at 877-779-3860. Again, that's 877-779-3860.
Yeah, welcome back to this beautiful Monday morning. It is September 17th, and you are listening to the Scout Team with Scout Team Sports. We're always excited to be on the airwaves every Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 7, and again, we replay every morning at 11 a.m. on 12ouncesportsradio.com, one of the greatest radio stations in all of the interweb. Now, we have an amazing lineup ahead of us on the show schedule, but I do want to send a little shout-out to good friends of ours, the guys over at Rehab Sports Guys and Hog Nation. They're taking a little bit of a step down for a little while. This whole radio business, it'll eat you alive, and these guys just got worked to death over there. They had been doing a great job, and they've been on our lineup every single weekday and putting in the hard work, and we really appreciated all of their support for our show, all of their support for the radio station, but we understand sometimes life happens, it comes at you fast, and those guys are just taking a quick step back. We're hoping to see them back in the fold here in a little while, so if you were looking forward to listening to those shows, unfortunately they're just taking a quick step back. But with that being said, you've got Clutch Talk Sports coming on at 8 a.m. Kevin over at Clutch Talk puts on an amazing show. We've got Off the Field later today, Bourbon and Bad Opinions, Stick and Rink, Brunch with the Buds, Vegas Squares, just an action-packed lineup coming at you. And we love to see all the great shows on 12-Ounce Sports Radio continuing to do what they do. And we're the Scout Team. If you want to get social with us, make sure you hit us up on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram at Scout Team Radio. Or if you want to tell us how terrible we are, our Twitter handle is at MACK Scout Team. Make sure you hit it. All the hate mail can go to at MACK Scout Team. Right, Anthony Mack?
Man. Bring it. I have no problem with it.
You have no problem, right?
Yeah,
all right,
bring it.
man.
Send all your backpack memes, your Willie Swaggart memes. Send them all.
Hey,
that way.
you
By
can
the
come
way,
at the backpack all you want, man. I like the backpack. It's here to stay. It's probably not here to stay, to be honest with you, after I lost like Syracuse, but whatever. I like him. He's
Just so
awesome.
you know, Chris America is Willie Taggart, hashtag FSU for life. I hope that guy stays there forever. I love it, man. Keep up the good work.
But when we beat you for 6 years in a row, what are you going to say then?
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm guessing you're going to be wearing a Hello Kitty backpack at the end of this year.
And shave legs or something like that, right?
Yeah, I think we need to check
I
the tape.
forgot
So
about that.
I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure.
we got to make the
Forgot about
tape.
that.
We got to listen to the tape. I'm not sure if I bet both of them, but whatever. We're going to beat Florida this year. If nothing else, we'll beat Florida this year. Absolutely.
Now, the one show we did not record is the one that you're like, oh, go back and listen to the tape. So
I'm hoping
I
it's
see.
a-
I
Oh,
see what
that's the
you're-
one we didn't record?
Yes.
We recorded the last 30 minutes, so hopefully it's in there.
Maybe that was part
Oh.
of it. I don't know.
Maybe it's just
now-
the backpack.
I was going to roll into some NFL, but I mean, I feel like there's still so much college football that we can cover. So let's do a little bit more college football before we roll into NFL. And we've always got Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday that we can NFL it out. But I want to talk a little bit about the Big Ten's disastrous weekend. I mean,
Isn't that
is
every
bad.
weekend?
Huh?
Isn't
Is
that
that like
every
any other?
weekend? Yeah, it's just every weekend.
Well,
and I know
well,
where you're going with this, but still, go ahead.
No, go ahead. What
No,
is
no,
your
no,
take
no,
on this?
no.
I mean, we could go with the ACC's disastrous weekend also.
I know where you're going with this, so keep going. Go
All
on.
right.
Big Ten.
All right, so Big Ten has a pretty disappointing weekend. Some of the big programs end up taking big losses, like a Wisconsin. But Urban Meyer, he was off the field. He was not coaching. But Ohio State ends up coming through and gets the big victory against TCU. So that was the one bright spot out of the Big Ten's weekend. So now that they've survived this 3-game Urban Meyer suspension, now are you guys a little nervous that Ohio State's going to be – I mean, it's going to be like an Ohio State-Alabama national championship this year? I mean, I don't think anybody wants to see that, but it kind of looks like it could be.
I wouldn't want to see it. I think Ohio State's always good for 1 or 2. And Urban really wasn't suspended, so whatever.
Yeah, he was.
No, he wasn't.
Well, it wasn't just a disastrous weekend for Big Ten. It was a disastrous weekend for Power 5. Tons of Power 5 teams losing to Group of 5
Here we
teams.
go.
And no matter what happens, UCF did not move a smidge this past weekend. So what we do know is, yes, Alabama and Ohio State will play for a national championship, because once again we're noticing that the polls still will not move UCF no matter how much the Group of 5 schedule or Group of 5 teams lose. And if you notice, all the teams that Ohio State and Alabama and Clemson, all those teams that they pad their schedule with their conference games, like the Wisconsins, like the Arkansas, they all lost this weekend. They all got beat down this weekend. And you're supposed to convince me that when Alabama and Ohio State and Clemson play their in-conference games, that I'm supposed to be impressed because they have a Power 5 patch on their schedule when they're losing to BYU, when they're losing to all of these other schools. Who else lost this weekend?
Well,
I'm trying to look at the
Northwestern
schedule.
lost to Akron, so that was
we
a
got
big
a
loss for
there.
them. USF took a big victory against Sean Daly's Fighting Illini.
Yep.
Troy with the big win over Nebraska, which we talked about
Yep.
with the Scott Frost talk. Temple gets the big win over Maryland. Why does it say that on the Big Ten? Is it Maryland ACC, or am I losing my mind?
No.
Maryland's
They've
ACC.
been Big Ten for the last 4 years now.
Okay, so I'm just behind
You're
the
fine.
times.
You sure?
Yeah. No. Maryland's been out of the Big Ten for a minute now, guys.
Would you say been out of the Big Ten?
No, they've been in the Big Ten for a hot
Okay.
minute now.
Okay. Yeah. No. Okay. So yeah, my source is correct. My brain is wrong. I can take that. That'll be my idiot sandwich for next week.
And then you have Rutgers, who lost to a FCS school, Kansas, this past week.
Yes, Rutgers is the other loss there. So
They didn't just lose to Kansas. They got blown out by Kansas, and that should have been a WWE retirement match. Whichever team lost should have to never play football again. And Rutgers, it's time to hang it up, man. If you lose 55-14 at home to Kansas, you're done. It's over.
That's
Yep.
funny.
Yep.
That's funny.
I mean, that's almost as bad as losing to
and
Syracuse.
we missed San Diego State beating Arizona State.
Ooh.
We did miss that, but that's not Big Ten.
I know, but it's still Power 5 losing to Group of 5.
Oh,
And
I
was
was just
wrong.
going all Power 5. I was just looking at the Big Ten. But yeah, no, you're
No,
right.
it wasn't just the Big Ten. It was just the Power 5. The Power 5
It was
was
just
a
the
joke.
Power 5. All right. I hear you. I know where you guys are going with this. UCF deserves a shot. I said this last year. I said if they went undefeated 2 years in a row, they deserve a shot. I'm all for burning down the system. You guys know that. I don't believe that you guys won a national championship last year, but burn it all down to make it better. UCF deserves a shot. They deserve to move up. They keep winning. I mean, if they keep winning, they deserve to move up no matter what. 2 years, new coach. That proves some moxie. You know what I'm saying? So if they go undefeated or even lose 1 or 2, they still should be in that conversation.
And
especially since Ohio State's going to lose 1 or 2.
It's not just UCF though. It's USF. It's Troy. It's all these other teams that are just doing just as good. It's really just proving that you made a system of these Power 5 conferences and you tried to convince us that, oh, if you're in this conference, you're automatically a better football team, and it's just not true. I mean,
USF has a better chance than UCF. I don't know why it is that way. It's just that way. USF traditionally has been a better football team.
No, they haven't.
Traditionally, in the last 10 years, yeah, they have.
No, the last 10 years, UCF has been just as good, if not better. UCF has never won a January 6th bowl game. Just because in 2007, because they were, for whatever reason unknown to me, they were in the Big East. They made it up to number 2, and then they got their asses handed to them by West Virginia or something. Or no, they beat West Virginia, became number 2, and then something happened to where they just lost and they never regained it. We all remember that. We think, oh, USF has been around for a long time. Either way, USF and UCF have the same exact non-opportunity to play in the playoffs.
I want to say that's different. We'll do some research later. But either way, they deserve a shot. UCF deserves a shot. They deserve to move up in the polls, and I'm all for it. If they're behind in the polls to a 1 or 2 loss team, and they're undefeated, I'll jump on that train with you guys. We'll burn it all down. You know what I'm saying? They deserve a shot this year.
No, I agree with you, Anthony. I don't know if you guys saw this clip. It was floating around on Twitter, but and I didn't see it live. But College Game Day, they had a little segment where they were talking about Clemson, and they said, you know, Clemson all the way through does not have another ranked opponent on their schedule. And so they're saying, well, if they don't have any ranked opponents on their schedule because they have a weak schedule, if they win out and go undefeated, should they have an opportunity? And everybody said, well, if they win, they should be in. It doesn't matter what their schedule is if their schedule is weak. If they win, they should be in. And it was such a hypocritical statement to make based off of what UCF has done and the non-opportunity that UCF had. But just because they're a Power 5 and I mean, we know that Clemson's a good team, right? We know that they are a big household name, but their name is going to carry them a lot further. If you look at it specifically, strength of schedule, quality wins, that sort of thing, it's no different than what UCF did, but all of a sudden, every analyst is going to say, oh, Clemson will get a shot, no doubt. If they go undefeated, even if they have a schedule that's 10 times worse than what UCF's was last year, where UCF beat 4 ranked teams and Clemson doesn't have any, you still would give Clemson that opportunity based off of name more than anything else. And, I mean, I get that Clemson's a huge program and the talent there and the coach, but it's the same exact argument.
Yeah, I agree. And while I would love to continue this conversation going, we only have about 12 minutes left on the show, and we've done all college football. Let's talk about a football league that doesn't deal with all of the hypocrites and the bureaucracy and just the overall madness of college football. Let's talk about one that says if you win your games, you're in. It doesn't matter. And
Canada Football League?
Yeah, that too.
CFL.
Yeah, CFL. Go
Rough Riders for life. Rider Nation. Ride or die.
So one team that would have come into the season ranked 123rd if they were in college football should be ranked in the top 5 right now because of their top 5 quarterback, Conor McGregor, coming into Tampa, throwing the football all over the field, grounding, pounding his opponents, and just throwing haymaker after haymaker, landing knockout punch after knockout punch. I'm talking about Conor McGregor leading the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to a 2-0 start. They beat the Super Bowl champs. They beat the a pick in the Saints that everybody has going. A lot of people had going to the Super Bowl this year. Loudbeard, what are your thoughts on Conor McGregor just utterly dominating his opponents in the ring?
Well, there's two things that I have to say about this. One is October 6th, we have the big Conor McGregor fight coming up. Romper Bet 2.0, Conor McGregor will win. Chris America's backing the wrong fighter once again. I'm going all in Conor McGregor. Two,
Yeah, and after seeing Conor McGregor light up the scoreboard, I'm nervous about this bet. This is how Conor McGregor is training. I'm nervous.
You bet the romper on Conor McGregor, man? What are you doing, Chris? It's his field.
No, he's going against Khabib, another guy who's 26-0 and a Russian monster. It's not like I'm betting a no-name jabron. I'm betting on the champ.
Hey, is this guy? So this guy's defending the belt, basically. I'm just asking.
We'll talk more about UFC.
Right.
We'll get you caught up to speed closer to the October 6th. We're talking football here, guys.
Yeah, we're talking football.
So
okay.
I was live. I went to this game. This was awesome. The problem was it was 110 degrees on the field, and I felt like I was going to die in a puddle of mush. But I got to watch great football. The Bucs came out hot. The first play of the game, it was like a 70-yard pass to Deshaun Jackson. Fitzpatrick, man, Conor McGregor, this guy looks like the best I've ever seen him in his career. And he had a stint a few years back with the Jets where he looked amazing. He's had a couple glimpses of amazingness in his career. Yeah, and this is the best I've ever seen Ryan Fitzpatrick. Now, I guess the argument, which I heard all over Tampa Bay radio while I was on my way home from that game, is if he continues to play this well, should they bring Jameis back? Now, Jameis is the young 24-year-old future quarterback, and Ryan Fitzpatrick's the 35-year-old veteran backup quarterback. Do you let Ryan Fitzpatrick ride this out until the hot hand is not hot anymore? Or when Jameis comes back, is this his team, and do you put him back in immediately?
So, winning is winning?
Yeah. Winning is last I checked.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. Hey, it is what it is. Jameis had what? 2 years? 2 years?
Yeah,
he's been in the league since 2014. No, he's been in the league since 2014, guys.
Okay, so he's had 3. So he's had 3 solid seasons. Yeah, he's had 3 solid seasons.
I don't know if you'd call them solid, but okay.
I'm just saying he has 3 years, basically.
It's basically been like Jell-O solid, like little shaky, little.
Yeah. Okay, look. If they're winning, you can't change that formula. I mean, you just can't, right? I don't know. I think you got to ride this out. I think you got to see what the Fitzpatrick does. I think you have to.
I think at this point, Fitzpatrick has won the job, and he has to have like a monumental meltdown in this third game to lose it, because it's not like he's coming out here and just eking out wins and throwing up 150, 200 yards okay games. He is lighting up the field. He is throwing the ball all over the yard, and he hasn't slowed down in the last 2 weeks. I don't know how you bench a guy that's playing this good. When Jimmy G was playing in New England when Tom Brady was suspended, he didn't light up the scoreboard. He didn't just make it look so easy. I mean, he looked decent. He looked good, but he wasn't doing what Ryan Fitzpatrick is doing. Now, is Ryan Fitzpatrick your future? No, he's not. He's not your final answer, but he's your right now, and that's all you need to worry about, especially if you're this coaching staff who, for everybody that was looking at the Tampa Bay Bucs this season, says he's on the hot seat. He's got one of the hottest seats in the NFL, and when your seat is hot, you don't go back to the guy that you think is going to be around to help out your franchise for 10 years, because if you're not going to be here for that 10 years, why do you care? You need to win now so you can stay for 10 years. And if Ryan Fitzpatrick plays like this through 6 weeks, 7 weeks, and that trade deadline starts coming, you start shopping around Jameis Winston, if you ask me. Because if you can get the type of deal that the Eagles got for Sam Bradford, you go ahead and you take it, is what I say.
Now, that's one way of looking at it, or you can say, hey, this is the perfect system to actually groom Winston. I mean, remember when the quarterbacks come into the league, we always ask, do they start now or do they sit underneath the quarterback and learn the game? maybe this is the perfect situation for Jameis, that he actually gets to see a quarterback lead a team. A veteran, Fitzpatrick's been around. He's been on a couple of different teams. I just looked up his stats with the Jets. I'm sorry, Cal. You were right. I was going to go in on you like, really? He was good with the Jets? But he was pretty decent with the Jets. So either way, this guy can actually groom Jameis to be a better quarterback. So this might be the perfect system for Jameis. I mean, he might not see it that way after being a starter for 3 years, but at the same time, this might be the best situation for him. I think if he goes anywhere else, he doesn't succeed. I mean, he just gets put in the same situation. Hey, you got to go out there and win now. You've been in the league 3 years. Sit behind Fitzpatrick for a season. If he continues on this pace, like, we don't know. Week 6, he could fall apart, right? Week 7, it could be the same thing. And they say, okay, Winston, it's time to suit back up. But right now, Fitzpatrick is lighting him up. Jameis, sit and soak it in. Learn the game. Take a season just to get better. Become a student.
Just to throw a couple other little tidbits at you, Jameis Winston lit it up in the preseason, so we know that he's on the same page as Ryan Fitzpatrick with this offense. Fitzpatrick just said when he took the job, he said, I'm just keeping the seat warm. So he was under the impression that he would just be playing for the first 3 games and then be the backup to Jameis. And this is a young guy that obviously is impressionable, and if you take him out and let Fitzpatrick ride this out, you may end up just emotionally messing with him, and you could lose that future. So there is a chance that Jameis does get they give him the steering wheel back, but I really don't feel like they can with winning. If they go 3-0, it would be really difficult to even give Jameis not give Ryan Fitzpatrick the shot. Give it back to Jameis. I don't see how they could, but there is a possibility.
Well, I said this might be the best thing for Winston. Like, I didn't say he was going to finish his career in Tampa. I never thought that he would anyway. So for Winston, it might be a good chance to sit back and learn. If they trade him that season, if they let him go a season or 2 after that, whatever the case may be, he still got that season that he actually learned to play the game instead of being thrown out there and say, hey, perform. You know what I'm saying? So it might be a good thing for the man himself, not the team.
I think you guys should both apply to be Jameis Winston's agent. It sounds like you guys are both trying to help him out and make him a better guy and a better quarterback. But let's move on to guys that don't need 3 seasons and doesn't need an old quarterback to come in and show him the ropes in year 4. I want to talk about my new favorite quarterback, Mr. Patrick Mahomes. Smell you later. 6 touchdowns yesterday, 10 total on the season for his first 2 games. Andy Reid finally has his guy, I think. This is the best quarterback. I'm saying it right now. Overreaction Monday, Andy Reid has his best quarterback he's had his entire head coaching career.
What?
Now, name me a better quarterback who just fits that Brett Favre mold that he had in Green Bay as an offensive coordinator.
Okay.
I just said his head coaching career, not his whole entire coaching career.
Damn, bro.
Relax.
Okay.
But Patrick Mahomes, no interceptions. He's not throwing interceptions like Brett Favre, but that Brett Favre guy was. I'm on the Mahomes bandwagon, man.
I get why you're
sold.
on the bandwagon. He's played that good, but we're looking at 2 games. He's still a young guy. I'm not 100% sold, but the little bit of sample size, this guy is playing like a Hall of Famer in 2 games. Hopefully he can continue it all year. I mean, he's looking like he's the next Kirk Cousins. I see where you're going with this, but obviously we need to see more. And as you said, regular season Andy or whatever you call him, Chris America, I want to see it in the postseason. I want to see a whole season of it. I'm not ready to anoint Patrick Mahomes the next Aaron Rodgers or the next Kirk Cousins or the next Alex Smith. I'm not ready to do that yet, but it's getting there.
If you guys are going to be high on
total
Winston,
overreaction.
If you guys are going to be high on Winston and high on Sam Darnold and high on these other guys,
wait,
you got to be super high on my boy Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah,
no one was super
right.
high on him. We were
You're
just
right.
giving him a shot.
Awesome.
I give Mahomes a shot, but I'm not. You're overreacting. Total overreaction Monday for you.
I'll be here with my I'm a Genius Week 16 when my boy Mahomes.
Sure.
I'm ready to buy a jersey, man. That's how this kid is fun to watch. He's a gunslinger. I'm sold. I watched the first half of the Steelers game. I had to go to a party or something at my brother's house after that, so I didn't get to watch the second half. But man, the kid is fun to watch. Man, watch the highlights afterwards. The kid is just
6 TDs. 6.
6. And the fact that he got picked at number 10, you got the Browns. What were you thinking in the 2017 draft? I mean, I know you liked Myles Garrett, but I'd rather have Patrick Mahomes right now. Mitchell Trubisky, what are you doing, Chicago Bears, with Mitchell Trubisky? You gave up a lot to trade up to number 2, and you passed on Patrick Mahomes. And the Chiefs, I remember watching that draft, and they're like, the Chiefs move up to number 10. They trade all of these picks, and they pick Texas Tech quarterback Patrick Mahomes. I'm like, who the hell is this guy? I don't really watch much Texas Tech, but I'm sold now. My boy Andy knew what he was doing.
Man. You know what, guys? There's like a million other NFL stories we could cover, but we're out of time. I can't believe it. This week went fast. Congratulations to the Vikings. You should have won that game. And
we'll talk about it tomorrow, man. The NFL weekend's not over yet.
Yeah, we'll talk about it tomorrow. No problem.
We got a long way to go. Tomorrow morning, we will be back at you 6 a.m. and 11 a.m. on 12-Ounce Sports Radio. I want to thank everybody for listening in. Peace. We're out of here.
We're out. The New York Giants had one thing to do, by the way. Just one thing to do.
Beat the Cowboys, man. That's sad.
Yeah, they couldn't get it done, man. I don't know why you guys were hoping on the Giants.
Yeah.
Not that often.